This program is brought to you by Emory University.
During the summer months, most of the Oxford community is spread across the United States and across the globe. When the news of this tragic Dakai incident occurred and began to erupt, students reached out on social media to express their shock and grief and to comfort each other with anecdotes and photos and with prayers for the families. I will read a statement from a student who knew both Abintha and Faraz well. Chase Jackson is a 2016 graduate of Oxford College who worked closely with both Abintha and Faraz on Student Activities Committee, SAC, a leadership organization at Oxford. Although he was unable to attend the vigil today, these are Chase's words. As I learned about the loss of Abintha and Faraz, it was heartbreaking to say the least and came as such a shock to all of us. Although there were many lives lost in this horrific incident, we have gathered here today to honor two souls in particular who have touched this community and sparked so much light into our lives. Their lives have been a standard for people to strive for, a bar set high. So we can look at what they did in their short time here and know that good still exists among tragedy. So I think it is fitting not to simply mourn the deaths of the beloved lives lost, but to admire the amazing things they have done for Oxford, the Emory community, and each individual who knew them. Abintha and Faraz are true servant leaders. Their compassion for others was apparent in all their words and deeds. I knew of Faraz's reputation before I knew him personally. I frequently heard students comment on Faraz's kind and loving character. And as I came to know him well, I can attest to the fact that these traits were aptly descriptive of him. Students grew to appreciate thoughtful conversations with him, his ability to provide wise insight on tough situations, and his characteristic smile, even at the toughest of circumstances, for the sake of others. As I got to know Faraz even better, I realized that his heart was bigger than anyone else's I knew. Abintha brought the same smile-filled, intentional, loving personality to every SAC meeting. She made sure that although Faraz was no longer leading the committee after he enrolled at Guzweta Business School, his legacy would live on through her leadership. Abinta's meeting styles were similar to Faraz's, fun, team-building atmosphere, but what happened outside of these meetings really showed her impact. Students would flock to Abinta's room as a positive and loving place to be. Her ever-present smile and genuine passion to help others made her an easy person to talk to, hang out with, and seek advice from. More apparent to me, though, both Abinta and Faraz had a unique God-given trait of servant leadership. People were drawn to these two because they were students to trust, to respect, and to follow. This deep respect encouraged other students to speak their minds openly and know that their opinions mattered and were heard. Abinta and Faraz dedicated their leadership gifts to putting others above themselves. Their selfless spirits paired with the influence they had on others allowed them to achieve amazing things for the greater good of our close-knit community. I believe that for Abinta and Faraz, the college community seemed to be the very thing that drove them to succeed the most. You see, it was our community that loved and encouraged them to go out and change the world for the better and caused them to pay it forward. It gave them peace, joy, hope, something to live for, and even something to die for. Faraz's sacrifice shows us truly just how much the strong bond of friendship and community meant to him. This is powerful. So, some of you may be asking, what do I do from here? I found myself asking the same thing. But the answer may be simple once you think about our reason for gathering today and for this vigil. I think we are not here to mourn our loss, but to celebrate the lives of two beautiful people, as well as the lives of the other victims. Abinta and Faraz's influence at Oxford was empowering and affirming. And just because they are no longer with us does not mean that their legacy will diminish or be forgotten. Showing love, humility, compassion, and respect for those among us, that is the legacy they have left for us, and for that we are forever grateful. Faraz and Abinta, I look forward to seeing you again someday. Eternally yours, Chase Jackson.
Assalamu alaikum and Eid Mubarak. Dhaka, the place of my birth. I took my first steps there, spoke my first words. It taught me how to live. It taught me how to love. Dhaka was the first home I've ever known, and Emory was the second. I woke up one morning to the buzzing of my cell phone and found an inbox full of messages from my Emory friends saying they were sorry for my loss. One particular message read, "I see that you know at least one of the students who died yesterday." I jumped out of my bed, dashed to my laptop, and typed with trembling fingers, "Dhaka attack victims," to find two students from Emory among them. Words are too small and too inadequate to express what I felt in those moments. The only two places I have ever called home, Dhaka and Emory, have collided in a brutal, unexpected, and tremendously tragic way, producing horror and heartache in so many. My friends back home tell me that it's been raining in Dhaka since that tragic night. I don't think it's rain. Those are tears of Dhaka as it mourns the lives we lost. We Bangladeshis pride ourselves in our hospitality toward our guests. It's a crucial aspect of Bengali culture. Dhaka is sorry that it couldn't protect its own and its guests. Kurt Vonnegut said in a powerful line in Slaughterhouse 5, "There's nothing intelligent to be said about a massacre." It has a tinge of truth to it. Let us simply mourn today. Let us mourn and honor the legacy of those victims. While I was not lucky enough to know Abinta, I did know Faraz. Our very first interaction being when he reached out and offered to help me with a project. That's who he was. Out of the sheer goodness of his heart, he offered help. Kind, caring, and loving. A friend asked me after the recent tragedies throughout the world, do you ever question if a concept of humanity actually exists among people? On any other day, I would answer in a heartbeat, of course it does. Just look all around us. This particular day, however, I could not find my voice. Recent times have been a cruel spiral of trials and tribulations as we are thrown from one tragedy to another, flung from one horror to another. I was shocked and afraid. Dhaka was home, and it took 2 of our own from Emory. My faith had faltered, and I struggled. The fear slowly turned into rage. The world seemed like an unfair place. What did Faraz, Abinta, Tarishi, and everyone else do to deserve such fate? I'll always remember Faraz. His actions until his last breath served as an unfaltering testament to the depth of his character. He refused to leave behind his 2 friends, even after he was allowed to go. Beautiful, young, precious lives were cut short by this monstrosity, but we will forever carry on their legacy. I want the entire world to know Faraz was a true Bangladeshi, a true human being, one who saw in others more than their religion, nationality, ethnicity, gender, or sexual orientation. In honor of Faraz and others, we must not be afraid in times like this. Being afraid is analogous to the rest of us surrendering and admitting defeat to evil. We must continue on. We must go to airports, churches, mosques, rock concerts, stadiums, gay nightclubs, abortion clinics, cafes, and everywhere else we choose to go. The great Bengali poet Rabindranath Tagore once penned, "Every child comes with the message that God is not yet discouraged of humanity." Let us pray today. Pray for the victims of Dhaka, of Baghdad, of Istanbul, of Medina, of Orlando, and of all other places which have witnessed unbelievable pain. This Eid, an occasion meant for celebration and festivities, it doesn't feel like Eid. My heart goes out to all who started the month of Ramadan with their loved ones by their sides and now must continue living without them. May we all continue in unity, in compassion, and in our shared humanity.